Hello, people of the internet. My name is Aidan and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. We are here on the surface of the moon, where last time we had a landing which, well, you can see just about how successful that was. We ran out of fuel at a couple of kilometers, well, probably about 500 meters above the surface, and these landing legs are a hell of a lot more strong than they look. We hit the surface about 40 meters per second and ended up in this unfortunate position. We are eventually going to run out of electric charge. We only have like 200 total or something, yeah, 210. In a rather strange turn of events, we're going to end up with the sunlight coming across here and waking us up every day, which is going to be very awkward. Now, interesting thing, we have two ships on either side of us here. If I click on this one, that's the Utopia 2, the spacecraft that we used to slow us down to be able to land, to help us with landing. But what's that one? What's that one over there? It's the Unity 6. So, after last time's moderate success, let's just call it a disaster. It is a disaster. We went back to the drawing board. The Utopia 3 gained us a decent amount of useful science. 195 to be precise. With this, we could unlock a new tech node. I went for the one that included a toroidal donut-shaped fuel tank, the Oscar B, very small fuel tank, as well as an assortment of smaller engines. The total cost of this was 160 science points, not leaving us with much in the way of leftovers. However, these smaller and more compact parts, along with this smaller and more compact probe core, allowed me to begin building smaller and more compact landers. This guy flew pretty amiably, and if you ignore the wobbliness of those improvised landing struts, landed pretty well as well. Indeed, this could be the end of the story. We just strap this guy to a rocket, send it off into space, and bish bash bosh, we're on the way to the moon. However, in order to make this mission worthwhile, we want to be taking a materials bay study. But this probe is very, very small, and there's no way that it can carry even the smallest experiments. So, back to the drawing board. This was a fairly unorthodox design, putting the fuel tanks within the cubic octagonal struts that were acting as landing supports. Note to self, remember to attach the engines properly, you idiot. Once I finally did get this beast flying, I found that the fuel drained in all the wrong order, and it flew about as well as a slapped octopus. With this next design, I realised that by being quite liberal with the part colliding in editor, you can make a spacecraft with all the necessary amenities all stuffed within one another. This is all well and good, but landing becomes a little bit problematic. So we scrap that design in favour of whatever the hell this is. Unsurprising to some, it flies about as well as a bull tethered to a merry-go-round. So let's move on. This next design is the final one, and is indeed the one that I use to go to the moon. Rather than using any sort of landing strut or landing support construction, we're just going to land on the materials bay. Using a kind of quote-unquote sky crane formation at the top, we put the engines up here in order to avoid landing on them. This design flies and lands pretty decently. However, due to its relatively thin surface area, we are going to have to be careful to land on a flat piece of lunar surface. The launch was perhaps one of the best I have ever had. Perhaps due to the more aggressive gravity turn that I did, or perhaps just due to a whole lot of luck. We managed to get to a low Kerbin circular orbit very easily with plenty of fuel left, and just a short while later we were in orbit of the moon with more than enough fuel remaining. So this is the Unity 6, A joint international program strung together using the best of technology, all sort of rammed into one piece and launched. We're using a slightly unorthodox type of fuel tank here, you see. So we've got these three just like that. I thought we needed a bit more fuel, but I didn't really want double this amount. And you know, I feel like it's a good amount because we're nearly out on this tank, and then we've got what? Yeah, there's 10 in each of these, so that's 30 more units. Now, as I say, the land that we land on does have to be very, very flat because we don't have landing legs of any sort, or really any sort of ground stabilization or anything like that. We did previously have a decent landing site over here. This area is kind of directly below our apoaps, so if we lower our altitude right now, then we may come directly over the top of it. We're going to have to do a plane change mover, but that can wait. 6 kilometers. We're going to leave it right there because we know that that is more than likely to be totally alright. Here comes Kerbin, wishing us luck. From the looks of it, we may well be in total lunar eclipse right now. Oh, we totally are, aren't we? Okay, so that's not ideal. Considering the fact that the sun is completely occluded from us, I'm almost tempted to wait another orbit, because we certainly don't want to run out of electric charge. Alright, fine. I know, I'm a wuss, I put things off, I'm terrible, but we're going to go for one more orbit. Hopefully the sun will come back into view. I will tell you what though, this presents a interesting opportunity, it does. This is the first time that we can study the effects of a Kerbin eclipse on the moon. There you go, on, and log that. And we will apparently get absolutely no science for doing it. Amazing. If I transmit that, I still get the contract. Alright. Yeah, that's interesting. We we transmitted a total of no science, and we got the contract for it to get science data from around the moon. So that is intriguing. Right, sod off. What was that? Coming off of the surface just there. Did you see that? The sun is just poking around the disk of Kerbin, just as we are about to go behind the moon again for the next night. Will we get solar energy to top up our batteries before the night time? More than half of the sun has to be outside of the object for solar power to actually count, which is weird. So what's going on right now? We're having a sunrise and a sunset at exactly the same time. Yeah, there it goes. The final orbital, well, the final Kerbin rise all in all, really, because Kerbin does not move in the sky of the moon. So this is the final one. Take it in, because from now on we'll be following the ebbs and flows of the lunar surface. Okay, here we come. We are approaching our possible landing site. Here we go. Did you bring peanuts? I hope you brought peanuts. I didn't bring peanuts. I have no sort of good luck charm here. Got a PG Tips monkey, if that helps, but not a lot else. And an octopus. Now, our periaps is still quite a long way away, but this land leading right up to it looks promising. This land that was just to the south here looks even more promising, but there's nothing we can do about that now. It's now or never, my friends. So let's just effing do it. That was the motto of the last mission, and it went well. Engine ignition. How far do we want to burn? I'll tell you what, we don't really want to burn that hard. We've already totally killed our orbit there. I want to aim for here. You know what, we may be right on time to land on that. Our predicted impact is somewhere over there still. It's by this crater. So actually, that's not so bad. Basically, what you want to do is just be doing a retrograde burn in such a way that by the time you you make contact with the surface, you're moving at 0 meters per second. It's just really all about timing and keeping the bloody thing straight. Keep it straight, boy. Now, we do not have much of a fuel budget in the top up here. These fuel engines, these 4 engines here, they burn down this fuel quite quickly, which is why I'm glad that we have the fuel in this one. We're already 157 meters per second. Well, we may as well stop burning there, really. The more you drop directly down, the more energy you are wasting, because you're just directly fighting gravity. Alright, we've gone slightly too far. Oh, I've run out of tea. I have nothing to calm my nerves, and I am absolutely crapping myself. You see, this looks less flat than the land that is directly below us. Under 4 kilometers, we're pretty much closer. Well, we're at a lower altimetry sensor altitude than we have ever been. Surface, surface, surface. Looking scary as all hell. Batteries are doing fine. Lights are on now. We've just run out in the top toroidal donut tank there. Alright. Oh god. Where are you going? Alright, okay. We're going to have to drop this tank very soon, because we don't want it landing too close to us. So we're going to do that, exactly that. Now. Separation. Stages separated. We've got a bit more freedom to move around now. That's going to hit the surface at 20 odd meters per second. We want to activate those engines. They all work absolutely fine and share off the same tank. We want to avoid landing too near to that. So basically we want to cancel out our sideways velocity, however you term that properly. We're coming in at 20 meters per second, full tank. Full tanks of fuel. My heart is racing. My heart is utterly racing. We have light on the surface. I repeat, the photon emitters are making contact with... Oh my goodness me. Okay, that hit the surface. There is a bit of... Oh godness... No, come back. Jesus Christ. Alright, that made a little bit of a mess. There is some debris. It's not bouncing back up. We can see it sort of rocking around down there. That's fine. 12 meters per second, 11 meters per second. This is going to be a absolutely perfect landing. I think. Stop it. Okay, coming in. 8 meters per second. 8, 7. Yep, 7 meters per second right there. Right on the up and down. 5 meters per second. Actually going to throttle down as we're coming into land. 4.9. Just really slowly. Really slowly. There's not much of... There's a little bit of a slope here. It's not perfectly flat, so we want to throttle up. So we just absolutely barely even touch the surface. Okay. There it is. Rocking just a little tiny bit. But we're on the moon. We were on the... We did it. We did it. I just realised that I actually wasn't breathing, and also I had my face about 2 inches from the computer screen, just staring at it. Oh, my eyes hurt now. Wow. That is incredible. We did it. I did it. We did it. I did it. We did it. Everyone did it. We did it. We're on the moon. We're on the moon. I love it. I'm not actually. It's so exciting still. I've played this game so much, and it's still so exciting when you achieve something like this. We're on a little bit of a slope, but this is a really nice place to land, actually. Look at this. There's not much stuff going on in terms of geological interest. We've got some mountains off in the distance. The fine dust of the moon has intermixed with some of the samples. You have a sneaking suspicion that they'll never be able to get the lab clean again. I see. It appears that recovery would give us 100 science, but transmitting will only give us 20. So that will only take us up to 80 science, meaning that we can't even actually unlock a new tech with this. Interesting. See, that's very odd, because surely, like, I've pretty much completed all the stuff for the moon with a spacecraft that didn't really land on the moon. Now we can also get 16 science from that. The thermometer reading on the surface right there. Well, there's not really any chance that we're going to be recovering this anytime soon. We may come back here, but just because it's very nice and flat, and, you know, coming and visiting an old spacecraft on the moon is always fun. I mean, they did that in real life. They went and they, you know, as part of the science experiment, they landed one of the Apollos. I think it was Apollo 12. Maybe, so that's the second one that landed on the moon. Did actually land next to or near to an earlier probe spacecraft. So maybe we can come back here just because this is nice and flat and this is nice and interesting. But for now, we'll go ahead and transmit all. Where'd it go? 92. 100%. Lovely. And there we go. Temperature scan has been uploaded and we are all done. How much science was that total? Well, we have 98.6 science now in total, which is it's a decent amount. I don't think it's enough to unlock anything else. For now, this has been an excellent success. I think you'll agree. Next time we'll come back with some landing legs and hopefully do it a little bit better. Hopefully so we can recover it. You see where I'm going with that. Okay, thank you so very much for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed, and I will see you when I see you. Goodbye.